Now, I'm not happy about this at all. Charles Robert Stansfield is gold. Ali is boring old blue. I got what you want. Honey, I got what you need. Honey, I got what you want. Hi, we are Rob and Ali, sharing with you our passion of all things cruise and travel.
Now, a few days ago, Carnival launched its updated loyalty or rewards program. They're calling it a rewards program. And the clip that you've seen just at the start of this video was actually a mistake. That was not a blue card that Al should have had. But in reality, under the new scheme, that could actually happen.
It could. I couldn't think of anything worse than either losing your VIP status or actually having another member of your party. This was the party,
especially your husband
being
or wife.
a higher status than yourself. And that's what's going to end up happening in this new loyalty program.
It could very well end up happening because your status is based on spend. Now, if you're like us, and we just put one card onto our account and all the spend goes on one because we collect the points, so we collect Qantas points for it. So if that card is in my name, all those points and stars are going to go into my name and not to Al.
Yeah, you get the VIP treatment and say, see ya.
Anyway, let's
explain it a little bit better.
That aside, let's dive into it because the new program that's been, I'm going to call it a program because it's a bit loyalty and it's a bit rewards and it's a bit of something else tagged on the end. So the old loyalty program was based on the number of nights. The more nights you cruised on a Carnival ship, the higher you got on the status and the more rewards you got.
Well, that's it. Traditional loyalty, that's what you were rewarded for. We kind of worked it out that if you had, say, 3 one-week holidays a year, very generous, most people would not have that many. But in order to get to platinum status, that would take you at least 5 or 6 years. And then it took you over 10 years to get to diamond status, the top. So
just to break that down then, so you start off your very first cruise, you'll start off on blue, and then your second cruise right the way up to 24 nights you're then on a red. 25 to 74 nights you would then go on to a gold, which is where we are at the moment. 75 to 199 nights was platinum, and then 200 nights on board a Carnival ship is diamond. Those did not have an expiry date. You could take as long as you want to build those up, and every single night counted.
You'd need a long time for that platinum.
No, but it
diamond.
was achievable. It was achievable.
It was achievable, and people have achieved it.
Well, that was the problem, Al. Too many people achieving it.
And it's staggering, isn't it? That the reason they've had to put this loyalty program to bed is because it's so successful that the perks that you get for being at that top end, like early boarding, priority offboarding, and the priority tenders, which are always, because these ships are so big, going into the smaller ports, that's a biggie because you can lose half your day getting off onto a port because you have to get on the tenders. So that's massive. If you have too many people in that kind of class, you're no longer a priority. So that's why they've had to withdraw it. So it's staggering really that many people are so loyal to Carnival, this is where the upset comes to, because they're taking it away from people.
They're taking it away, and
loyal customers.
Exactly. And although they have a new, and there's 3 parts. I'm going to deal with the loyalty bit for the first, which is your status. Then we'll move on to the rewards, because there is some good in this as well. We think. But from the status point of view, yes, you take it away, and it will now be based on spend, not the number of nights. Now, the spend, to be honest with you, when we break it down, is quite incredible. We don't feel that those high levels, certainly for us, are not even going to be achievable. It's not something that we could ever achieve. So on the new levels, you need 10,000 points to get to gold standard. Now, we think that's probably achievable for a lot of people. You have to do that over a 2-year period before it all resets. So if we break it down to Australian dollars, that's $5,139 over a 2-year period, or just over $2,500 per person per year for 2 years to get to that gold standard. it's not just your fare, it's also your onboard spend, it's excursions, it's specialty dining. Anything that you spend counts for that. Counts for that. So we think that's probably achievable.
Yeah, the more expensive the holiday, the more, again, the quicker you'll get to that status.
Yeah. Now, your next one, Platinum, that jumps up to 50,000 points. 50,000 points, which is equivalent of, and this is per person, $25,695 over a 2-year period. That's just short of $13,000 a year to get to that platinum status.
You see, I want my own butler and my own lift by the time I get to that status. In 2 years, it's really starting to add up, isn't it, to get the kind of the extra status?
Now, here's the stinger. If you want to get to diamond status, you need 100,000 points over 2 years. That's 51 Australian dollars converted, $51,390 over a 2-year period. Nearly $26,000 Australian per person per year if you both want the same status over a 2-year period. Not only that, they reset at 2 years. So if you want to keep that status, you've then got to spend that every 2 years. $51,000 every 2 years on Carnival cruises.
What do I get?
Wow!
Status.
Wow! I just want to actually
say, my own ship.
I'm gonna leave this out for the moment, but they do include your casino spend. So anything spent in the casino also goes towards this, which is where a lot of those big spenders in the casino are going to have an advantage because they are likely to get there quicker because of the casino spend. But even so, it's a big ask.
I wonder whether they will take away some of those casino benefits of the sort of the cheap or the free cruises.
Well, there's been nothing mentioned so far.
They haven't, have they? But it would seem a bit of a double dip if they got both the rewards to get the free holiday and
you know what? If I was a cynic, I would say this program is geared towards the casino players, geared towards the gamblers. If I was a cynic, that's what I would say.
And of course, just people who like to spend the extra. So anything that you spend in the spa, the extra fancy meals, all that kind of thing, you're going to get your status a little bit quicker. I start to feel that in order to spend that to get the status, Carnival's great, but you would then start to feel, if I have to spend that in order to get some kind of status or bonuses, you'd go for the better ships. You'd go for the more at market, and you'd just get that because you're on a more at market ship. Seems a little bit counterintuitive, doesn't it? Whereas loyalty, by just booking your same old holiday year after year, same old holiday, you know what I mean? That's your favourite. That's the regular one.
Well, there's a familiarity in that. That's why a lot of people keep going back to all of the cruise lines, because you feel at home. You're going back to a ship. You know the experience.
But if it's based on spend, that's the same way as your shopping kind of loyalty works, doesn't it? It's great. The more you spend, the more you kind of get your little bonus back. This just doesn't feel quite as rewardy. I know there's no such word, but you know what I mean.
Well, we'll see what happens. I believe that Carnival have very recently, or John Hill has very recently made an announcement that there is possibly going to be looking at some changes due to the huge amounts of negative feedback that they've received on this. We'll see what happens. It doesn't kick in until June 2026. Look, my hope is that they will have a look at this and do something to enable those people who've spent a lot of time and a lot of money to get to those status, that they'll be able to sort of retain them or make it easy for them to retain them.
And it's not a minority, because the whole thing comes full circle, because it started out that they needed to change it because it's so popular. So
okay, we accept that.
There's a lot of you that are going, I've taken years. So go on, tell me about the other side of it.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, so...
I like the sound of stars.
That is, the stars are the loyalty one.
Oh, it's the loyalty, and the other one's the bonus points.
Yeah. Before we finish off, though, I just want to say we absolutely do empathise with those higher tier guests, with the platinums and the diamonds. Yeah. We would love to. I don't think we'll ever get there, and certainly under the new scheme, I don't think we'll ever get there. But we understand and appreciate what you've done to get there, and we feel for you, and we really do hope that Carnival have another look at that and try and do something to help you. Yeah.
Yes.
However, you're right, it's not all doom and gloom, and we've looked at the other side. As I said, there was 3 parts to this new program. Now, the second part of this program, which is the rewards part of it, I actually like this part of it. It's based on spend again, but you get points based on the amount of money you spend. Once again, it's based on your cruise fare, it's on board purchases, it's spa. There's also, and I'll touch on this a little bit later, but you can also earn points if you have a Carnival Barclay MasterCard, which is only available in the US. Now, I will come back to that in a minute, because I know there's a lot of talk about that as well. But yeah, what I really like about this part is that you can start earning points and benefits from your very first cruise. So first-time cruisers who get nothing under the existing scheme, and in fact right the way up to gold, we're gold level, and all we get is a 1.5 litre bottle of water and a drink on a 5-night plus cruise.
It's a nice gold card.
Actually, we get the gold pin as well. I like the gold pin, and I'm going to miss the gold pin. We're going to lose the gold pins, but that's
landfill. Who said landfill?
That's a conversation we'll have later. But and we do a lot of short cruises on Carnival, so we don't even get the free drink. So the 1.5 litre bottle is what we get. But on the new system with the rewards, every single dollar that we spend, we are going to be earning points that we can redeem for things like drinks and internet packages, for whatever we want to. You can use in specialty dining, shore excursions. There's a whole heap of things that you can use your points and use them exactly how you want to. Not only that, you can actually save them up. So you don't have to spend them on your cruise. You can save them up. And as long as you have some activity on your points within a 3-year period, you can just keep building them up and building them up and building them up. And you could, if you wanted to, build them up and pay for a cruise. In fact, one of the benefits of the Australian one is a 3-night, well, it's given as an example, is a 3-night cruise from Sydney to Tangalooma. I'm sure there are other ones, but that's one of the examples that
Could you use it to pay a deposit then?
You can use it to pay a deposit, yes.
So I could save them up in the 3 years, use it to pay a deposit.
You don't have to use them after 3 years, as long as you do some activity. So if you go on another cruise and earn some more, you can just keep building them up, You build them up for 10 years, 15 years if you want.
And then I could use them for a deposit for another few years down the line.
Exactly.
So I'm not... Yeah, okay. That's pretty good.
So I like this part of the program.
Yeah.
I do like this part of the program because you can use your points. Well, you weren't even getting them before, but you can use your points for whatever you want.
The only thing, though, is, Robert, they are personal to you. So if you are a family with children, your children are going to end up with zip out, probably, because all the spending will be on yours.
Send them off to the arcade.
Or, yeah, so you're going to have to, you would end up maybe with everything gone because the card is in your name in order to build, because we like to build up the points on one card because we get all the extra, Qantas.
But that wouldn't make a lot of difference because if we were using for a deposit or if we were using them against specialty dining, it sort of would be for the both of us anyway, so that wouldn't really make
What about if
difference.
I wanted to go and book, with my other fella? And the sneaky weekend away?
Yeah.
Did you hear that? The complete disbelief, yeah.
If you're watching, she's not getting any point. Anyway.
But yeah, so that's pretty good. And it was actually, we were talking about the credit card because we were hearing a lot of people saying it's unfair because
let me just touch on these points for a start up before we move on to credit card. Let's touch on these because I've seen quite a bit of chatter about the fact that they are in US dollars and people saying we're disadvantaged in Australia because they're in US dollars because obviously of the exchange rate. $1 US is about whatever it is, 1.5, 1.6 Australian dollars. Yeah. And I would absolutely agree if cruises were the same price in Australia as they are in the US. Now, I did a bit of research on this earlier and I looked up an Australian cruise. I used an arbitrary cruise. I used to use an 8-night cruise to the South Pacific, booked in Australia for 2 people in an ocean view cabin. Taxes and port fees and everything aren't included, so it's just your basic cruise fare. So the cost of that cabin in June 26 for an 8-night South Pacific for 2 people, ocean view, the basic cruise fare is $884 per person or $1,768 for the 2 of you, which when converted at current exchange rate to US dollars is $1,145. So booking that cruise in Australia, we would get 1,145 points. If a person in the US booked exactly the same cruise, 8 nights South Pacific from Brisbane in Australia, Their basic cruise fare would be $577.50 US, which would be 1,155 US dollars. They are going to get 10 more points than us. 10 points. That's the only difference, despite, forget the exchange rate, they're going to get 10 more points. Now, on top of that, don't forget, on top of that, they have to pay gratuities from the US.
Yeah, gratuities is massive for us that we don't have to pay them.
So they've got, and okay, they're going to get points in it, but the points, the money in your pocket is always going to be king, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So they've got to pay another 256 US dollars or $395 Australian for that cruise. So yes, they're getting 10 points more, but it's costing them nearly $400 more.
You see, ka-ching, ka-ching, that is money in my pocket.
Yeah,
whereas
absolutely.
the points,
Yeah.
I have to spend them on board. And that's not, it is real money, but it's not real money. Yeah, I would much rather have ours.
Absolutely. And the points difference is
Cheaper.
negligible. 10
Yes.
points. 10
Yes.
points. Now,
Yeah.
I also did a comparison with a 8-night cruise booked from Miami in the US to see what that would be. An 8-night cruise booked from Miami in the US would cost them $2,338 plus gratuities. Yes, they're going to get a lot more points for it, but they're paying a lot more for it.
Yes.
So, I don't know. It depends on what you want. Depends on whether you want those. Well, the points are negligible. 10 points difference. And your $400 more less.
Yeah, I think if you are a Carnival cruiser and you have stayed loyal because you like the whole program, you like everything that they do, it seems like a real kick in the teeth that they've sort of taken that away, and that you won't get the chance to get that back again, really, realistically looking at it. I think for people like us who hop around from cruise ship to cruise ship, it's a bit of a win for us, I'd say, generally, for people who just, won't stick, aren't loyal. So we're not loyal, and we're doing better off.
Oh,
So
no, we go on various ships because we want the different experiences, and we look at price as well.
Which is even more of a kick in the teeth for people who are loyal, I guess. So that's really the top and bottom of it, isn't it? So I think they really do need to think of the people who are on that platinum and diamond status at the moment. If there was a better way of even finishing off that program so that you felt like you got a proper farewell from it, some kind of acknowledgement, a better acknowledgement.
Yeah, as we said earlier, hopefully that Carnival will work something out. But the rewards program, which is the benefits bit of that,
it's not bad for us at all, I think. And probably for most people, new people coming into the cruising scene, they're going to go, this is great. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yeah. Now, the other part, and you mentioned on this earlier, now there is a MasterCard that you can get, a Carnival MasterCard that you can get. It is only available in the US, and spending on it, you get points towards your Carnival. You don't get stars, so it's not going to affect your loyalty level, but you do get points, so it will affect that amount that you've got to spend on board. I'm going to be honest with you, even if it was available in Australia, I would not be getting it. And there are 2 reasons why I would not be getting it. One of them is we have credit cards in this country where we can get rewards. The one I have, I can either get cash back, or I can get Flight Centre rewards, and I can use it against anything that I book through Flight Centre. It's not quite as much as what you might get from the MasterCard, which I understand you need 30,000 points or a $30,000 spend to get a $300 on board benefit. The second bit, and this is a big one for me.
Yeah.
My credit card that I use in this country, my Australian credit card, I get complimentary travel insurance. The Carnival MasterCard in the US does not have. So if you had one of those cards, if it was available in this country and you had one of those Carnival MasterCards, yes, you can use it and get your points, absolutely. But then you're going to be paying for your travel insurance as well, on top of it. So again, money in your pocket.
Huge.
So
that's it. It's money that's not leaving your pocket. Yeah. Real money.
I would not be having one even if it was available in this country, because I have a better deal using my Australian credit card.
Yes.
Okay, the final part of this is the milestone rewards. Now, this is points that you get. So don't forget, points are the ones that you can actually spend on board, depending on how many nights you've been on. So after 50 nights, your first 50 nights on board, you'll get 5,000 points. That's to spend on board, and a special sail and sign card. And every 100 nights thereafter, you'll get 10,000 points. Woo! We've yet to see how those points will translate into onboard spend. I'm assuming and I've not seen anything in it. I'm assuming that it'll be points based, not dollar based, because of the difference between the US and the Australian and dollar. It would make it just too difficult to try and work it on those.
Yeah.
And the fact you're earning points means I think it'll work on points. That's the way I think it will go. It makes it a lot easier.
Now, the way I have been trying to remember this is points make prizes.
That's true.
And when you're a star, you're a VIP.
You know, that's pretty good. That is pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good, isn't it? So you get your stars to get your status for VIP. There you go. Now remember. So
in summary, the loyalty program, the status levels, it's not great. Carnival, you probably need to have a look at this again and see if you can do a little bit better on that. The rewards program, I think that's brilliant. It benefits every
really
single cruiser, no matter how many cruises you've been on. It's a benefit, a real tangible benefit that they can spend how you want. And the more nights you do get those extra benefits of those points if you do more nights. So that is our take on it at this stage.
Winners and losers, I'm afraid.
There are, unfortunately, there are winners and losers. Bit of both. That's our take on it. It's just our take on it. I'm sure people will have difference of opinion. If you have, let us know. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, and it does sound like Carnival are listening. Whether anything will happen, we will try.
There is a lot of noise.
Posted.
There's a lot of noise.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you've liked this video, please hit like, please hit subscribe, hit the notification button if you want to see more of our videos. We're going to leave you for today with this Carnival loyalty rewards update. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
Take care. If you've got a cruise coming up, have a fabulous time.
Bye for now.
Bye.